Hey guys, my name is WyrmsEye and welcome to another episode of our VGC Battle Spot series, The Battle Spot Factory. If you haven't seen the first episode, please do go and check it out. As I have said before, this is a new endeavour for me, new recordings, new series, new everything. So for me, any comments that you may have and any feedback is very much appreciated about these recordings, my commentary. Anything you want to say, please go and say it, either in the last episode or here. Gratefully appreciated. So we're back on Battle Spot, rating us 1549, and we're still using an edited version of William Tansley's London's International Team, Alolan Raichu, Porygon 2, Kartana, Salamence, Gigalith and Tapu Koko. So in the last episode we obviously found that our electric types did a lot of work, as we find a rated opponent of 1500 from Japan in max, and the team of Tapu Koko, Pikachu, Electivire, Electabuzz, Jolteon and Vikavolt. So an all electric team. This episode is definitely going to shock you guys. So main priority, I think, here is wanting to get Gigalith onto the field in Trick Room. However, the road to doing that is not going to be easy, and we do have to obviously consider that the Vikavolt has Levitate, so it is not going to be as easy, shall we say, to just freely fire off Earthquakes left, right and centre. How do we want to lead? I do think we want to go with a lead of Raichu and Porygon 2. Gigalith needs to be in the back, and for our final one, I think we're going to have to bring Tapu Koko again. So this is actually kind of a difficult team for us to deal with, because although it's got one very universal weakness, we still need to get some setup so that we can get into a position to knock out our opponent's team. So there's going to be a little bit of adjusting for position as we try and get around each other. I imagine that he will lead off probably with his Pikachu at some point, but he leads Tapu Koko of Electivire. So we're going to have to assume that Tapu Koko probably has Discharge. This will proc Electivire's Motor Drive, giving it a boost in speed, as well as his Pikachu, which probably has Lightning Rod as well. So I think that's a safe bet to make. So straight off the bat, I'm going to just fake out into the Tapu Koko. Do I want to Trick Room this turn or next turn? Trick Room next turn. Let's have a look see. Obviously with a Motor Drive, I don't think Electivire can outspeed the Raichu, but we'll also see what the Electivire has for an attack, and it has WyrmsEye. So it's going to be using Tectonic Rage onto our Raichu. We should have Trick Room this turn, guys. It's that's a mistake on our part, but never mind. Very good tech from our opponent. So the Raichu will go down to the Tectonic Rage. It will faint. And obviously we know now that the Electivire has Earthquake, most likely. So Our Gigalith here is Assault Vest, which isn't ideal in this situation, but the alternative is not very pleasant either with Tapu Koko. I think if we send Tapu Koko in, we can get a big Dazzling Gleam off. This will also chip damage the Electivire. The Electivire is most likely going to use Earthquake, so it's probably going to protect the Koko anyway. So we'll go into Tapu Koko, and what we're going to try and do is get Porygon to Trick Room this turn. We may be losing Tapu Koko in the process, so we will be going down 4 Pokemon to 2. But the key thing here is that we will get complete Trick Room turns, so 4 Trick Room turns unhindered with Gigalith, and we should be able to power through the rest of his team from there, doing the damage that we have done. So I'm going to use Dazzling Gleam, and we'll Trick Room here. Now the only way that this can be stopped is if Tapu Koko happens to have Taunt. They don't normally carry it, and obviously we see that the Koko has switched out for Vikavolt. The Dazzling Gleam does go off. Electivire taking that relatively well, but we should be in a position here to still clean up with. Wow. Electivire does not knock out Tapu Koko. Okay, so I grossly overestimated Electivire's power here. So Tapu Koko stays on the field for one more turn, so we're gonna just let it go down to a Dazzling Gleam. And with Porygon 2, we will Ice Beam into the Vikavolt here, I think. I imagine the Vikavolt's going to use Discharge to power up Electivire's speed, so once it gets out of Trick Room... No, it's just going straight from Thunderbolt onto Porygon 2. Does modest damage, but nothing spectacular. Electivire does go for Earthquake, so Tapu Koko will be going down without getting an attack off. So obviously we haven't played this game particularly brilliantly. We kind of let our opponent get the better of us very early on. However, in Gigalith we trust. So here I think our best option is to try and get Rock Slides off. The Vikavolt is threatened by a Rock Slide and will most likely be KO'd by it. Electivire will probably need some assistance going down with an Ice Beam from Porygon 2. Electivire may elect to protect, so might the Vikavolt actually, but we're in a position now where Gigalith is basically in its element and in the best position on the field. Vikavolt avoids our attack though. Electivire does go down to the Rock Slide, so what is the Vikavolt going to do? It's an Energy Ball into our Gigalith. The Assault Vest means that Gigalith takes this relatively well, but critical hit and a special defense drop there means that we are in a bad position, but the Vikavolt also gets frozen in the process from our Ice Beam. So, unfortunate for my opponent that his Vikavolt is frozen, but it now gives us, our Gigalith, a bit of a reprieve. We can also recover with Porygon 2 and try and get back some recovery health. So I'm still going to Rock Slide with Gigalith. We do know that he also has Tapu Koko, so how do we want to go from here? Is it worth recovering here to get back some lost health, or is it better to try and KO the Jolteon? 2 turns and triple left. We can recover next turn if necessary. So we'll Ice Beam into the Jolteon here. We should be able to get a knockout with any luck. Gigalith does hit both targets on the rock side. Jolteon taking massive damage and Vikavolt now going down. So, Ice Beam from Porygon into Jolteon. Is that enough? No, but we get a second freeze instead. But Jolteon 4s, uses Thunderbolt into the Porygon and knocks out the Porygon. But the Jolteon also shows that it has Life Orb. So we probably still lose this now. Obviously the Tapu Koko can come in. We still have 1 turn of Trick Room left. But with the special defense drop that we had on the Gigalith, I imagine that the Thunderbolt will do enough to KO the Gigalith outside of Trick Room. So we have to hope here that our opponent does not have Protect, or does not choose to use it. We shall see in a second. Doesn't Protect. It's obviously a team that's not built around being championship consistent, but we made a meal of that, but we still come out, we edge out victors here. So yeah, in this game, obviously getting in Gigalith was key. We didn't do it in the best of fashions. Obviously the WyrmsEye from Electivire caught our Raichu off guard very early, and not choosing to Trick Room on the first turn was a major setback. But once we got Gigalith into the position that we needed, the Vikavolt was a bit more of a challenge to deal with because we needed to Rock Slide rather than Earthquake because of its Levitate ability. The freezes obviously helped us out massively to deal with Vikavolt, but in the end we powered through and we clutch out a win on that one. So we're going to be looking for our second opponent of the day. Our rating is 1563, so we're climbing up the ladder very steadily, very slowly. Hopefully we'll be able to make it some way into the 1600s with this team before we change. It's a good team, it's very solid, but it does have a lot of predefined weaknesses. So we find a Japanese opponent with a rating of 1485. With a team of Pelipper, Golduck, Rampardos, Salazzle, Tapu Lele and Kartana. So straight off the back we have a very offensive lead with the Double Duck, the Pelipper and Golduck that could come onto the field straight away. Obviously that is threatened very heavily by our Raichu and Tapu Koko, and realistically I think that is our best lead to start off with. The Salazzle could be a pain if it's paired up with Tapu Lele. So we have to be a bit careful of that. I do think Kartana is a good third for us, and looking at the team, I think Gigalith could be good here, if only to stop the weather. It might not be as effective as I would like, especially outside of Trick Room, but establishing some sort of weather control might be important in the long run, so it might put in some work. It may just be cannon fodder. We'll soon find out. I imagine that my opponent will probably lead Pelipper and Golduck. It seems the most likely lead to go for. Yep. So we do have options here. As Pelipper sets up Drizzle. So obviously Golduck's Swift Swim will make it one of the fastest things on the field. With this, Golduck has obviously got a very powerful Hydro Vortex that it can use. So we do want to stop that coming off on the first turn. The Pelippers though tend not to carry Protect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Fake Out into the Golduck. And I'm going to Volt Switch onto the Pelipper with the idea of bringing out Gigalith on the next turn. So Pelipper goes for White Guard of all things. So Tapu Koko goes for Volt Switch, knocking Pelipper down. No, not even down to its sash, so knocking Pelipper out. And we now get a switch. No Tailwind. Raichu can outspeed Golduck thanks to Surge Surfer, but I am a bit concerned that he may have Tapu Lele in the back. So I'm going to bring in Gigalith here in order to negate the Swift Swim boost that Golduck has, and that will mean that regardless of what our opponent brings out onto the field, Raichu will be faster than Golduck. So our opponent brings in Kartana. It's a difficult one to play here. That's a good show. I am going to Thunderbolt into the Golduck. And I am going to take a chance with this Gigalith, and I'm going to Rock Slide. I expect the Kartana to target our Gigalith. If not, we do get a free Rock Slide off, which wouldn't be the worst case scenario. So Raichu does get a Thunderbolt off onto the Tapu Lele. Modest damage. Kartana uses Loom. This probably onto our Gigalith to knock it out. If not, we will get an attack onto the Gigalith from the Gigalith, but no, this is going to KO. No chance of survival. But in the long term, that is a good sign, because we now know that the Kartana is not sashed, which now allows us a bit of leverage to work with. So we'll bring in Tapu Koko once again. This resets our Electric Surge ability and gets the electric terrain back on the field. So now Raichu is fastest thing on the field, no doubt about it, and we are just going to use a Shattered Psyche. Get your tongue around that early in the morning. Onto the Kartana. It's not very effective, but we will also cover that with a Dazzling Gleam. So, our opponent smartly switches Lele out for Golduck. But we do still get the Satchel Psyche onto the Katana. This should do about 25% damage, so still a useful attack to get off, but we shall see whether or not we're going to need some assistance here. So again, 25% damage. Obviously Katana's special defense is quite weak, so it should go down with repeated hits of Psychic or Thunderbolt and Dazzling Gleam. Obviously, as both our mons are the fastest thing on the field, we can target the Katana pretty safely without worrying about what the Golduck's going to do. So we'll Thunderbolt into Katana and we will Dazzling Gleam once again. The Golduck doesn't really have much in the way of options. It switches back out into Tapu Lele. We still should pick up the knockout onto the Katana with Thunderbolt and Dazzling Gleam. Yep. And that now, really, we've managed to negate our opponent's weather option. And we're now in a comfortable position where we can continue Dazzling Gleaming with our Tapu Koko, and Raichu is free to target the Lele with Thunderbolt, also knocking it out. So, Thunderbolt into Lele, Dazzling Gleam into Golduck, and we still got our Katana in the back should we need it, but our opponent forfeits. So again, this battle, it was a lot smoother sailing than our first match of the day. We had a very good lead matchup into our opponent's Pelipper and Golduck with Alolan Raichu and Tapu Koko. We obviously used the knowledge that Pelipper tend not to carry Protect by just Volt switching into it with Tapu Koko, and we knocked it out. Normally Pelippers carry a Sash on this style of team, but we denied our opponent the Tailwind. We also denied our opponent the Swiss Wind boost under the rain. And from there it was very difficult for him to really get back into the game, and from there we just swept. So it's 23 minutes. I think we'll call it a day there. As ever guys, I would like to thank you for joining us here. Again, any feedback, comments, like and subscribe if you want to, but any feedback is very much appreciated, and I will see you on the next episode of the Battle Spot Factory. Goodbye for now.